precious metals in a rising storm. Featuring Monex and the world-renowned commodities research firm, the CPM Group, led by Jeffrey M. Christian.
Hello, my name is Sean Brasney, Sales Director for Monex Deposit Company. I have the great pleasure of being here today with Jeffrey Christian, founder and managing member of CPM Group, one of the many analysts over there at CPM Group. Thank you for being with us again today, Jeffrey.
Sean, it's always a pleasure.
Now, of course, you're the author of our most recent comprehensive report that is out now and available for our viewers, Global Instability and Its Effects on Gold and Silver. And by the way, amazing artwork on that report. I think it should be on the wall behind you next to your Atlas Shrugged poster. It was awesome stuff. But again, in the later part of that report, about page 11, you brought up a subject that we haven't really talked about a lot, and you expect a potential recession. Projecting a potential recession in the second half of 24, maybe the beginning of 2025. And I'm curious, what do you think the effects on gold and silver will be from that recession if it happens?
It's an interesting question because if you look at past recessions, in the 1970s, the gold price and silver price rose before the recession. As everybody was looking at this recession coming, they were worried and they bought gold and silver. And then once the recession started, the price fell off. And then when the recession was ending, because the Fed was pouring money into the system, as were central banks around the world, the gold price rose again, as did silver. If you go forward in 1991, the gold price didn't rise going into that recession, but after we got out of the recession, it rose sharply. The same was true in the recession of 2001. And then in the big Great Recession in 2007 to 2009, which was followed, it coincided with the global financial crisis, which continued into 2011. The gold price started rising in 2002. Silver started rising in 2005 in an environment where everything was going wrong in the world, or starting to go wrong in the world. We still had strong economic activity until 2007, but people were looking at rising debt levels, not just federal debt levels, but personal and corporate debt levels. They were looking at the Iraq War, the Afghan invasion, the growing tensions between Russia and the United States. There were any number of factors that were there. And you saw gold and silver prices rising into that recession, through that recession, and then out of the recession. And that's sort of what we're looking at this time around. We're looking at an environment where people are concerned not just about economic activity, recession versus growth, but they're looking at a whole range of political, financial, economic, and social issues globally and domestically and locally. And they're saying, recessions come and go, but these problems are very difficult and they're not going to be resolved anytime soon. And that's really, I guess, the theme of that report.
Are we allowed to have recessions anymore? Is the Fed just going to step in and do what they can to keep that from happening? And do they have the juice to do that?
In the late 1960s, the Commerce Department had a report called a monthly report full of statistics. We didn't have the internet, so you got these published reports. It was called the Business Cycle Digest. In the late 1960s, the Commerce Department changed the name to the Business Conditions Digest because they were convinced that we didn't have economic business cycles of recessions and recoveries and expansions and recessions. The Commerce Department said, no, we've solved that. We won't have recessions in the future. That was the late 60s. The late 90s, we had the new economic paradigm, and we weren't going to have recessions or inflation anymore, and the Dow Jones was going to go to 40,000 within a few months. So there's this view sometimes that, I guess there's a hubris in society that, we're smarter than we used to be. We have more technology to see these things. and therefore we can manage the economic environment as well as the climate, the physical environment. And we're wrong on both counts. There will be recessions. The 100% chance that there will be future recessions, not just one, but a whole lot of them. And they'll come cyclically every so often. It used to be every 4 to 6 years. Now it's every 10 years or so. And overlooking the constructed one in 2020 due to COVID, we're due for a recession, and the signs are growing that we're headed toward one within the next few quarters.
Well, amazing information as always, Jeffrey. We're very thankful for the report that's out now. We urge our viewers and listeners to call Monex today, talk to an account representative, and get your free report, Global Instability and Its Effects on Gold and Silver. Thank you again, Jeffrey.